In the heart of a vast African savanna, where the golden grasses swayed in the wind and the baobab trees stood as guardians of time, there was a village named Nyaniso. This village was full of life, colors, and stories that connected everyone. Among the villagers lived kwEsi, a weaver whose hands brought beauty to the cloth he made, yet whose heart was heavy with sorrow. kwEsi was a quiet man, known for his gentle nature and his love for the stories of old. Each night, he would sit with the elders under the stars, listening to their tales of gods, heroes, and love. But one story always stayed with him, the tale of the sands of time. The elders spoke of a mystical river hidden deep within the savannah. This river, they said, was no ordinary place. Its waters sparkled like the stars, and it could carry a person back to the past. However, this power came with a warning. Only those with a heart full of true love could make the journey, and the cost would be great. kwEsi's heart had been broken years ago. He had loved Amma, the daughter of the village herbalist. Amma was the light of the village, her laughter like music, her smile bright enough to lift any spirit. Their love was the kind people sang about, strong and unshakable. But their happiness was short-lived. A sudden illness took Amma from him, leaving kwEsi a shadow of his former self. He walked through life as if in a dream, his laughter gone, his eyes filled with sadness. Years passed, but kwEsi's love for Amma never faded. He saw her in every flower, in the soft glow of the moon, in the gentle rustle of the trees. Her memory was a constant companion, and he knew he could not let her go. One evening, as the sun set in fiery colors, kwEsi made a decision. He would find the river of time and do whatever it took to be with Amma again. kwEsi went to the oldest elder in the village, Nana Efua. She was wise and had lived through more seasons than anyone could count. Her eyes seemed to see into the depths of one's soul. "Nana," kwEsi said, his voice steady but full of longing, "I need to know about the river of time." Nana Efua looked at him for a long moment. "The river is not for the weak," she said. "It tests you in ways you cannot imagine. Are you ready for what it might demand of you?" kwEsi nodded. "I have nothing left but my love for Amma. I will do whatever it takes." The old woman sighed and handed him a small pouch of herbs. "These will guide you to the river. Follow the stars of the great hunter until you reach the place where the earth meets the heavens. But remember, kwEsi, the river's gift does not come without a price." kwEsi set out the next morning with only a bag of food, the pouch of herbs, and his determination. The savannah stretched out endlessly before him, a sea of gold under the blazing sun. The journey was hard. During the day, the sun scorched his skin, and at night, the cold seeped into his bones. On the third day, kwEsi came across a group of nomads. They welcomed him to their fire, shared their food, and listened to his story. One of the older men, Jabari, gave him a warning. "The river is not just a place," Jabari said, his voice grave. "It will test your heart and soul. If you doubt even for a moment, it will consume you." kwEsi thanked them and continued on his way. The days turned into weeks as he crossed dry plains, climbed rocky hills, and endured fierce storms. Finally, he reached a valley surrounded by jagged rocks. There, shimmering like a dream, was the river. Its waters sparkled like starlight, flowing with a soft, otherworldly glow. The air around it seemed alive, buzzing with an energy that made kwEsi's skin tingle. He knelt by the riverbank, holding the pouch of herbs tightly. "Amma," he whispered, his voice trembling, "I've come for you." The river began to ripple, its surface shimmering with light. kwEsi felt a pull, as if the very fabric of time was unraveling around him. He closed his eyes, and when he opened them, he was no longer by the river. He was back in his village, but everything was different. The air was alive with sounds he had almost forgotten. Children laughing, pots clanging, voices rising in joyful conversation. kwEsi's heart raced as he realized he was in the past, in a time when Amma was still alive. He saw her almost immediately. She was in her garden, her hands busy pulling weeds. The sight of her took his breath away. She was just as he remembered, her dark skin glowing in the sunlight, her hair wrapped in a bright scarf. For a moment, He couldn't move. Then he took a step forward. "Amma," he called softly. She looked up, her eyes meeting his. For a moment, she seemed puzzled, but then she smiled. "Do I know you?" she asked. "Not yet," kwEsi said, smiling back. "But I know you." kwEsi spent the next days trying to win Amma's heart all over again. He told her stories of faraway places, wove her the most beautiful fabrics, and stayed close to her whenever he could. Amma, drawn to his warmth and kindness, began to fall in love with him again. But something was wrong. kwEsi noticed the world around him starting to change. Colors seemed less vibrant, sounds grew faint, and he began to feel disconnected from the life he was living. He remembered the elders' warnings. The river's gift was not permanent. It demanded a price. One evening, under the moonlight, kwEsi held Amma close. "There is something I need to tell you," he said, his voice heavy with emotion. "What is it?" Amma asked, her eyes searching his face. kwEsi hesitated, then said, "I came here from another time, a time where I lost you. I gave up everything to be with you again." Amma's eyes filled with tears. "Why would you do such a thing?" "Because I love you," kwEsi said. More than anything, as he spoke, the world around them began to shimmer. kwEsi felt himself fading, his body becoming lighter and less real. Amma held on to him, tears streaming down her face. "Thank you for finding me," she whispered. kwEsi smiled one last time before disappearing, leaving Amma alone but filled with a love that would never fade. Amma lived a long life, always carrying the memory of kwEsi in her heart. She became the village's storyteller, sharing the tale of a love so strong it defied time itself. And somewhere, deep in the savannah, the river of time continued to flow, waiting for the next soul brave enough to challenge fate for love.